All right, it is sweeping the nation, and it is ready to go. Harry Douglas, take it away.
All right, here we go, Green.
Bring it to.
Don't be mad at me, but I got to do it. We're going to go to Joey Bosa against your New York Jets. 2.5 sacks, a forced fumble. They couldn't block him. They didn't have an answer for him. Why? Number one, because his brother is Nick Bosa. That's little brother. But see, he big brother Joey Bosa, and we know those Bosas, bad boy, bad. I'm sorry, Greeny, I had to do this to you, but I had to do it. Nothing personal, Greeny.
I did that one under protest.
Nothing personal, just business.
Okay,
baby.
fair enough.
Moving along. Kenny Moore was so unique about this situation. Young quarterback Bryce Young gave him 2 gifts. Not only did he catch it, he took it to the house, not once, but twice, while his sisters were in the building.
Oh, yeah.
He has a twin. He had twin sixes, and he did it while his family was in the building. Kenny Moore to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the end zone. Why, Dio? Because that boy bad. And last but not least, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, we got C.J. Stroud. See, a lot of people wanted to question him when he came out in the draft.
Yeah.
Stupid people and stupid does. But let me say this. This young man is playing unbelievable. Nobody in the history of the game has thrown for more yards. Nobody in the history of the game has thrown for more touchdowns. Y'all want to know why? Because C.J. Stroud, dead boy, bad. It was 40-something seconds left on the clock. C.J. Stroud said, I don't give a damn.
Give me a
I'm going to take him down. Where's my receiver we drafted? Boom, boom, boom.
Walk
Bing.
off.
Fired it in there. Touchdown. One more time, Greeny. Why? Dead boy, bad.
He is every bit of that. Marcus Spears texted you. He's about to walk the dog.
He did. I got to give him that
He walked
credit.
him right down the field. A little later, Danny's going to have a touchscreen on C.J. Stroud. But here's the deal. Not only is Stroud right now the overwhelming favorite to win Rookie of the Year at -1,000, he is also very much in the MVP conversation. 5 players currently at ESPN Bet have odds shorter than 10-1, including a trio of quarterbacks bunched up at the top, led slightly by Patrick Mahomes. So let me very quickly ask the question before we make our picks.
The answer is yes.
All right, so if the question was, does Stroud belong in the MVP conversation?
100% yes, and I'm going to give you the reasons. Number one, he was the second pick of the NFL draft.
Right.
Second pick of the draft. That team is 4-4. Okay. Number two, their offense is 6th in the NFL in scoring, and their number 1 turnover offense in the NFL. That is very directly attached to the quarterback. The last part is this. I brought my notebook for notes because everyone thinks I'm stupid when I say this. Okay, right now, C.J. Stroud, second pick of the NFL draft for a 4-4 football team. Yards, he's 7th. Yards per attempt, he's 3rd. Yards per game, he's 3rd. Touchdowns, he's 6th. Interceptions, he's 1st. Third downs, he's 2nd. Rating, he's 4th. If you just took anybody else's name, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, whoever, they would be in the MVP conversation. I don't care if he's a rookie.
I think anybody who disagrees with what Dan just said is going to point to, well, it's the Texans or they're only 4-4. The tape, if you watch the tape, and if you look at his numbers, you cannot argue that he should not be in this conversation.
Yeah, he is very much at the MVP discussion right now. All these things should be taken, as you say, on a relative basis. We all thought that whoever went to Carolina was going into the good situation.
Yeah.
And
I think the 4-4 is in his favor.
Remarkable record considering.
I think so too.
That said, if I were to ask you, because we're essentially at the midway point of the season, to name the MVP in the league right now, you've got to vote. Who would you give it to?
The Grim Reaper?
Ooh, I know
Joe
who that
Burrow?
is.
The fact that that football team did not collapse, given what happened in training camp and then the first couple weeks of the season because of that calf injury, and Joe Burrow right now is hot. Just like to understand, he threw for 350 last week versus Buffalo.
Yep.
41 went to Jamar Chase. 41 went to Jamar Chase. Also, they're finally protecting him. 1 sack in 46 dropbacks. He's got 12 touchdowns. I think right now we could legitimately say he's going to end the season with like 30 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
I see 2 Eagles on my board. Harry.
I'm going the wide receiver route. I'm going A.J. Brown. What he's meant to this football team, not only this year, but last year, over 1,000 yards already, 6 touchdowns. I think his big playability, his strength catching the football, his ability to be the security blanket for Jalen Hurts is phenomenal. And a lot of the reasons why they're in the position right now is because of A.J. Brown.
Yeah, speaking of Jalen, I'm actually going with the guy who throws A.J. Brown the ball, which is Jalen Hurts. Now, when you look at this Eagles team, Jalen Hurts is 25-2 over his last 27 starts.
Yeah.
He is 10-0 against teams with winning records since 2022, I believe, since 2021. So when you look at this team, the reason they're in any position to do anything, Harry, is the quarterback.
Well, you just made my point. The only reason that another team is in any semblance of contention is the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by T.J. Watt,
wild,
who's having a monster season. When you say that boy bad, that offense is bad. Really bad. Mike Tomlin is doing the coaching job of the millennium. This team is Tomlining their way all the way to the playoffs, and with or without a helmet, T.J. Watt is by far their best player.
Yeah, I don't hate that one.
He'll never get it, but he deserves it. What comes to your mind there about that Cowboy defense? They began the season thinking they could be one of the all-time greats. Are they good enough to go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the NFC?
If they're getting turnovers, if they're sacking the quarterback, if they're not doing those things, I don't think Dallas is going to be able to beat the upper echelon teams in not only the NFC conference, but the AFC conference as well. And also, I'm going to take it to the offensive side of the ball really quick.
Go.
When it comes to their offense, I have this thing called KYP, know your personnel. You had a 4th and goal situation, the play they tried to throw to Schoonmaker, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I was upset with that play is because
it was the same one they ran before?
But not only that, you decided to go to a first-year tight end and a second-year tight end versus a veteran wide receiver and a veteran wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb ran the pick play the correct way and got Brandon Cooks wide open. Jake Ferguson didn't do his job the correct way. That's why you've seen the defender being able to come underneath and stop the touchdown from being scored. So in my mind, I'm saying to myself,
that inch that they missed the touchdown by is really an execution problem.
Oh, totally.
100%. Yeah. But my thing is I don't. If I'm Dak, I'm not going to these young guys. I'm going over here to my veteran wide receivers because Brandon Cooks became wide open. Also on that 4th and 7 play, I don't give a damn if Jalen Tolbert is over there 1-1. It has nothing to do with him as a player. But I'm going to CeeDee Lamb or I'm going to Jake Ferguson in that situation.
So heading into the Eagles game, I had said that the key to victory, in my opinion, for the Cowboys would be protect Dak and get the ball to CeeDee. This offensive line is an issue, how they're playing. Hembo sent a stat to me. In terms of pass block win rate, Tyron Smith ranks 40th out of 66 eligible tackles. Terrence Steele ranks 58th. So we can put it all on Dak, and yes, he has to be better. Yes, he has to understand where the boundaries are, and he's got to stay in bounds and all that. And he can't take sacks, but the kid was under siege. And that's a problem, especially when we talk about the physicality. We talk about these are division rivals. They know each other's weaknesses. The Cowboys have issues everywhere, starting at the head coach, starting with the quarterback, offensive line, skill players.
30 seconds, go.
Yeah, I think the whole 2-point conversion thing and taking the sack thing is massively blown out of proportion. Dak was really good. I also think the end of that game was a little bit more. Philadelphia had terrible matchups in man coverage, more so than, oh my gosh, the performance by Dallas's offense was great. Dallas's offense doesn't do anything great. They're going to beat those teams because of their defense. They have to figure out when Micah Parsons comes off the field, you better figure out coverage more consistently, and then they're going to have to get a certain way because San Francisco and Philadelphia are just going to say, we aren't going to block him instead of trying to do so, and that puts their best player in hesitant mode.
I'm going to say again, do not forget the Lions as this conversation continues into the second half.